Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher Review. My name's Julian Balance, joined in studio by Clint Hutchy Hutchison. How was the weekend? It was big. It was Friday night. I think you were on air Friday night.
I was.
I got it right, thank God.
Yeah, of course you were watching Jules. I know you love it.
And then obviously we had Saturday, Cox Plate. It was a big, big event. Crowd, obviously, no doubt, was rocking. Then they actually did. We've been saying for plenty of time we should burn joints down and things like that. They actually did. They were removing the rail. They were just taking pieces of grass. I don't think there'd be much left of it. It'd be like a carcass sort of in the
I can see you on eBay
somewhere.
just typing in a piece of rail or
Yes.
then you'll just be able to set fire to it at home or whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was a big weekend, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Friday night was frustrating. Saturday was great. Some nice results there.
Nice.
And, the weekend was good. And we were treated to some very good racing, a real special moment, which we'll touch on. And the changing conditions through the day did have their impact, which we're also going to touch on.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part. Now, I suppose when we do this, we're talking about what we're looking for if horses maybe were disadvantaged on Saturday because there's no care factor whatsoever in terms of how this track raced for next time we race there because we ain't. It's done, it's dusted, it's torn up. True position the entire circuit on the Saturday. Good for... Now, this is the interesting part. I thought it raced really evenly as a whole.
I agree.
And I know there was some horses probably early doors who were thinking, the inside's going to be white hot. But that evened itself out. That's what the Valley does sometimes. Just got to be really careful of these last two races that were both over 20:40 because I think there was a bit of rain about and the times indicate that it was much softer than what it was earlier in the day. So
Definitely.
When you're looking at the raw times, be really careful. And because we're probably speaking of those horses that might go to the stakes race at Flemington, over 2,000 metres, the older horses, and obviously the Derby for those horses on the quick 7-day backup, those two races in particular. But other than that, I thought the Valley did really well to fare well itself.
Both nights, to be honest with you. Friday night was good, and it's a good indicator, isn't it, the following day? And I think the track played pretty well. I think you could win from most spots, tempo dependent.
Love it. Let's get to the hen house, some races that we want to be with, horses that we want to be with, keep them in our back pocket. Geez, this horse, I mean, it went enormous first up at this track. And we sort of spoke about this is a hot little race. Tonkin was, clear-cut favourite. Don't Hope Do's a horse that's really fast as well. But this horse probably had the best gate speed. I speak of beast mode. It's like
where's he come from?
Stratosphere.
The beast is well named, isn't he?
Yeah. Blitzed here.
Yeah, well named. And this was unbelievable. This is another really good performance. I don't know where can they go with him, Jules? Where is beast mode going? He's a 1,000-metre horse.
Yes.
That's all he is.
He loses the Valley. So his last two efforts, best efforts by far, have been at this track. He's only rated 91, so that's a positive for connections, that they can sort of just go to an open handicap and you'll be on the minimum again. I'm adamant that he's a bend horse. You're probably not so much on that, and we can flesh that out a little bit. But his two best efforts have been around Moonee Valley. Now, the positive is that maybe Cranbourne are going to take some better meetings coming through in the next 12 months. That might be a nice track for him. I don't know if there's a 1,000-metre race on Cranbourne Cup Day later on in the year. But I want to keep him to this Caulfield.
You want him around a bend?
I want him around a bend.
Yeah.
It shows his best asset. And I just think when you have these straight races, for whatever reason, we talk about it a lot, those first 400 metres, 500 metres, even if you've got a really fast horse, I just don't think you go as fast up the straight as you lead into the bends.
I think that the riders don't, but I think
that's what I mean.
if they
100%.
rode him,
Yes.
if they rode him like that,
correct.
In
Jock's issue here.
Yeah, I think then I'd be willing to. I agree with your point that he's well suited round a bend, and for all the reasons you've mentioned, he's got that brilliant speed. But if what race down the straight would there be? He's not good enough for a weight for age race.
Yeah, it's not good enough for a lightning.
So, I don't know. Do they autumn? Look, it's a big call, I suppose, but something like an Oakley Plate, should he win again, try 1,100.
And that's the thing.
That's the kind of race, though, on paces have a great record with a lightweight there. So I think they could probably have a crack at that. I mean, with him, it seems like they've got the recipe right now. They give a month between runs. The blinkers went on. He's a different horse. Like, he's in the zone at the moment, so they've got to keep that going. And he's one that I'd just, carry on through. Yeah. Like, just give him a month between runs and try and pick out a race here or there. But it was, look, the clock doesn't lie. It was a really good performance.
It was outrageous. This race too was really good for me as well, Hutch. I want to get your thoughts on it. 3/4 of a second inside standard time, last 400, 200, just about the best of the day. The winner was Napoleonic.
Wow.
This was breathtaking, I thought.
visually unbelievable and was good on the clock. Yeah, I mean, this horse didn't see that coming. I don't know what was in behind, but it was more the manner in which he did it. 3-wide trail. I mean, I haven't seen a horse quicken up and put them away as quickly as he did in a while there. He was just classes above them. He brought that Sydney form. I thought he'd win. I didn't think he was any massive spoil in the market, but he won like $1.50 chance, didn't he?
Yeah, this prep, why on Megan win? And Warwick Farm, he busted was a big number. Then Rose Hill, it was a really slowly run race, and I know it was sort of some better class horses, Beedman and Mahuna, I think, were in it, but I gave him a really good chance in that race. And I thought he was only playing. I don't know whether that was because they went too slow and he got in behind them and needs clear air. I had him pegged as a really good horse, but that surprised me what he did on Saturday, how good he was, because that is top shelf. That is top shelf. So then I think they were speaking and go, 7 days is probably too quick for the Coolmore Stud Stakes for them. I think they say they want to go to the 1,400 metres.
They go to the All.
Yeah. Which he's
Can he
right
win
in
an All?
Yes.
Because I know Angel Capital's also
Angel
going
Capital
for
will go to it, but what do we know about Angel Capital? Low percentage play for where he always gets to in run. We saw it in the Rupert Clark. He had no luck whatsoever. In the Everest, he gets into a really awkward position
but
around
Angel Capital,
Caulfield.
do they need to get that far back
Well,
with
this
him?
is the thing as well, and they're going to have to probably ride him a little bit warmer around Caulfield because they want the Group 1. But a horse like this, who, look, he's not a horse that bangs himself right onto speed either, but he's probably got a little bit more gate speed than I think Angel Capital. 3-year-old, I think this race, the Ord, now where it is now, is going to become a haven for 3-year-olds because you can be Golden Rose, Coolmore, 2 weeks into an Ord Stake. So I think this will be a race that they start to really...
It's going to be a good race.
Yeah, it's going to be a ripper race.
Yeah.
Look, I think even whoever runs second on Saturday in the Coolmore Stud Stakes goes, you know what? If I haven't got that Group 1, so if it's not Bayvark, he's already got the Golden Rose. If it's Tentyrus, right, who gets beaten a lip or something by Bayvark, they 100% go to that 1,400 metre CFL.
They want to get that win.
Yeah.
Fair call too.
So I think that CFL Stakes could become a real sleeper, good Group 1 race, even though it's the back end of the carnival. Just wouldn't be surprised if it just launched with, but the key being the 3-year-olds are the ones that are going to make it a really good race.
Well, they may well do that, but it won't be an easy one to win, will it?
No.
All the same. Yeah. It's going to be a good field anyway. I think
absolutely
where it's positioned now, like you said, it's going to attract the right
But
horses.
This number's great, isn't it?
Very good performance. Oh, yeah, it just depends where they go. And they're obviously not going to back up next week. They're going to the All, so, they may well go there. So I'd be interested to see it go there.
Another race we're going to talk about is for the 3-year-olds. Now, this race hasn't gone any good really for me. Now, as I said, I think the times are really slow here. You look at the time and you go, I think there was a bit of juice in this track right now. I'd speak of Observer winning the Vars. I've got it a quarter of a second outside standard time. Now, the last 400, 200 soft, but the last, I think, 200, the handbrake was fully on.
How about that? Just put the parachute out.
It was ours, right?
This is one thing. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine. Now, I understand why he's, clocked off, doesn't want to run, have a hard run, probably backing up next. I get all that, but you've got to do more than this. And it got close. It got way too close. And he got fined as a consequence.
I did see that, yeah.
We're a huge fan of his, but you can't be doing that. It's, because jockeys do get it wrong sometimes. Horses can clock off, stop a lot quicker than you think. Yep. Next minute, or as they say, next minute.
Yeah.
Trouble. But anyway, get back to the horse.
Well, no, I'm just going to quickly, because you just said we do love him. I reckon he's the best jockey in Australia right now, Mark Zahra. Yeah. Now, I know James McDonald has just won the Cox Plate.
Listen, you've got a thing against JMAC.
No,
did you see him back on the weekend?
He won. He won 2 races, and I think he won a couple of races.
He's back, mate. He's back.
I think you're still losing money over him in the journey. So
got to pick the right ones, Jules.
No, well, okay. Mark Zahra is the best jockey in Australia. I mean, he is sublime. He has got it all. He's got the tactical nous, and he's got the ability to lift him neck. James McDonald is unbelievable. But right now, I'm talking right now. I'm not talking about overall sample size. James McDonald's the best probably in the world. Overall sample size. Right now, right here, Mark Zahra is riding like the best jockey in Australia. Can he win the Derby? I mean, he's sure price favourite.
I didn't mind the run of the second horse, all that said. But I mean, provided he backs up, he's got to be the horse to beat, doesn't he? And you know what? And he can go forward. Like,
that's the key.
He's going to be up there. He's going to be doing what he wants. But I did like the last 200 of the runner-up.
Providence.
And I think, Providence. And the I think Flemington will be a big plus.
Yeah.
And once again, right sort of stable.
Yeah, well, and that's a very good shout. It's a very, very good shout. Let's get to the Cox Plate. It was won by VS Sustain. It was their second in a row. I've got this sort of well inside standard time because I'm working off the fact that this was definitely a soft track by then. The last 400, 200 compared to the rest of the day, a little bit soft, but we understand that.
Yeah.
Overall, as a spectacle, I thought it was an outstanding race to just watch and breathe and feel it. It was how Cox Plates are run. There was only 9 in it. You could say it lacked depth and all that, blah, 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 but we're not here for that. Look.
Spectacle, not as much substance. I think that might be. But look, it was an exciting race. I wasn't there, but I mean, just watching it at home on the coverage. And she, when I watched it, I'm sort of looking at all the numbers again, and I'm the same as you, rating it where it did. It was good, nothing outstanding.
Yeah.
And then I'm just thinking back to myself, how the hell did she put up that figure last year? Like, it's mind blowing what she did last year.
It's the island,
and she's never really gone anywhere near that since. She was good. You know what? I was impressed with her win from the point of view, and I don't know, I might be saying the wrong thing here, but she wanted it.
Yeah.
I don't know about Buckaroo. I don't know if Buckaroo really ran through with it because Buckaroo had the drop on her, and I thought, he's gonna get past
with
her.
Zara lifting. Do you know what I mean? So if it was to say a weaker jockey, a week, but it's
JMAC.
But like usually you'd go, Zara's just going to lift this thing over, throw it over the line. Buckaroo didn't get thrown.
He was good, but like I thought it was a really tough win for her, and she wanted it, and she showed another quality. Like we saw her bust the clock last year. This year she was in a dogfight, and she wanted it very well. Now, Treasure of the Moment, I wanted to ask you, thought they should have gone to the paddock a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I thought she ran really well. I think that got flushed out and had to go when he went, Damien Lane, and that's not his fault. She ran great. She ran really well. Good.
Yeah.
I think the connections would be like, geez, I wish we didn't have that colic issue. Yes. Because I think she probably wins that race if she was healthy.
Close. Well, look, I think actually she ran probably not far off where she can, but for mine, like, she was just close. It was a solid speed. I mean, as it happens, turns out.
Yes.
And certainly suited those, I think, midfield or worse. I mean, it suited Via the way the race was.
Oh, 100%. And then gave Buckaroo an opportunity. Yeah. Quickly with Buckaroo, can he win a Melbourne Cup if they decided to go there?
I think they are. I believe the horse is being scanned, and I think the what I've heard on the radio, I don't think he stays. I don't think he gets the 2 miles personally. Yeah. I know he had excuses last year, but I'll be betting around it. But there's another one from the Valley that I will be following. Yeah, we're going to touch on that now or later.
We can touch it right now.
One smooth operator
winning the Moonee Valley Cup on Friday night.
On Friday night. That was a very, very good performance. The late sectionals were outstanding. The race set up nicely for him, I know, but I don't think Moonee Valley's his track. I think we go to Flemington. Last year's run, full of excuses.
Yeah,
the big teams wanted to be started $8 or $7 or something. Like he's over the odds at the moment for mine. I really think this horse has the makings of a horse that can win the Cup.
Yeah, go back to last year and watch the performance of that horse. He just got in at the wrong. He was in Newmarket and they were at Flemington. He was just in the wrong suburb. He just was. And he made ground and he got beaten 5.5, but it was just the way that race was run. For some reason, he was just so far back. He's a big track horse. If they can draw a gate, he's going to be right there. But I think Buckaroo has weight for age form. We've seen it in the past, like horses like Green Moon, and we say they're not going to stay. If they get a softly run race and they can get them somewhere near this like midfield.
Well, he doesn't have a lot of gate speed. That's the problem with him. So that's a big issue. And last year he drew awkwardly. So Moreira couldn't have him in the spot they wanted to.
Yeah, correct. You got to draw gates.
You got to draw
for some of these horses.
Him. And if he drew a gate and he had the right run, I'm not saying he can't win it. He's good for the race. I think he's going to attract a lot of betting attention. Yep. And if anything, the Cox Plate's probably outside of the Caulfield Cup, where I think the winner will be coming from, or when it could be coming from, I think is a sort of collective. There's a lot of good runs out of that race. But the Cox Plate's been amazing the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The right form line, usually that way for age form. So let's see what happens. I want to play in the last race, race 8, Bazball Rewarded. Its last 2 runs have just been absolutely gigantic. Just might dash around there again. I know there's some horses first up with some ability, but it runs to those numbers again. Bazball Rewarded, they won't get near it. I know they put up sort of something with the 3 in front. It's now sort of, that 260, 270. I think that gets wiped off the boards as well.
But it's Bazball Rewarded now by 3 lengths with 100 metres to go. It's hand and heels by Masquille, and there's no stopping her.
Well, there you go, Hutch. Yeah, we actually found one there. So
Yes,
this is a bit of just a reminder for the viewers out there. Keep a hold of Foxcatcher Intel socials. We will tell you when we think it is a bet. Yes, we saw the starting price was that very short. We're not betting our chest over that. We're betting our chest over the fact that if you'd listened straight away, you would have got the horse maybe with the 3 in front of it or big 2. So finally good to get one. But here's more for the punters because in the Fox's Den, my friend, you've got a few out of the last, Friday night in particular, you got a couple.
Yep, Friday night, Invincible Woman, really good run, return, nice effort, closed off the race well, probably wasn't run to suit and hit the line. Very stylishly. This is a horse that can win multiple races, so I think we want to follow her.
Yep.
Hopefully she can hold that Tene Olele. Ooh. I have no idea if this is the right pronunciation, but anyway.
Go back and watch the replay for those that haven't seen it.
Well, the ones that were, wow. And it's still, the closing sectionals are off the charts good, and it was on the bit the whole way, so it was some sort of a run. And the other one that, just follow it, everyone will. Apulia was the other one, like a great effort. This is a nice 3-year-old. Had form around the right horses, had a year off, great training effort. Once again, good pace, race rated well. Apulia is only going to get better with that run and could take that next step or two.
We've seen with that camp too, they place their horses really well, don't they? That they could get the picket fence and they continually keep that winning streak alive. So
absolutely.
They might have found another good one there. I think you are on the right track. All right. We're off the beaten track here a little bit here, Hutch, but we've got a few, so bear with me. Dancing on My Own off 154 days, won a Wodonga maiden, got it going through the roof, be with it. Alzaro won a Horsham maiden. It is going even bigger, be with it. Now, Burley ran 3rd to Alzaro. It had no luck whatsoever, same camp, find it at a maiden, be with it. Vango Bank Check, be with it. It's gone enormous.
Vango Bank Check.
Yeah, correct. We're not going to forget it. Mackhander, it ran, it'll be 3rd up next start. Find it in a maiden. Mackhander, please. Now, you might not pronounce it. I've got no idea of this one. Rosa Eritoriara, that is nowhere near it, but Reese Goodwin, I reckon this. I know he's got a horse called, I can't remember what it's called.
Rosa Taroa. It's New Zealand.
Yeah.
Listen, you're really going to offend all the Kiwis.
No, not those Kiwis, just a couple that produce us at racing.com in particular, the two that I need to offend.
Nice slaughter. Nice slaughter.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Reese Gooden's got a really nice horse here, a really nice horse. So be with it. And then I just want to keep an eye on Cleveland. So it was behind One Smooth Operator who we're charging into for the Melbourne Cup. We think he might be the right horse. Not for the Cup, but there might be just a race around the corner for Cleveland. Maybe that Queen Elizabeth maybe hits the go for him. So there are lots there that the punters need to follow, but we think you're going to get some winners out of that.
Write all of those down. Plenty of winners there, Jules.
Thanks for that, mate. I'm going to see you next week. We're not going to review the races. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do a runner-by-runner Melbourne Cup preview because it'll be the Monday before the Tuesday for the Melbourne Cup. I'll see you then.
See you, mate.
All right, punters, Hutchie out, Nick Ashman in from Sydney. Obviously, Group 1 racing up there on Saturday at Randwick. It was the Spring Champion Stakes, Nico. But in terms of the track and how it played, what do we think? It was out 7 metres the entire circuit, obviously Randwick, which I mentioned. What of the winners seem to come from a spot that I think you predicted on Thursday morning?
Yeah, we'll give it a little pat in the back there. Through the middle, as we say. The Foxcatcher way, lanes 3 to 8, I think we said was the sweet spot. 8 of the 10 winners in those lanes. So first 6 in running provided 8 of the 10 winners. I think 3 horses came from further than 3 lengths off the pace at the 600-metre mark. So it was a day where it wasn't so much an up and in. You just wanted to be midfield forward off, and you just wanted to be a fraction away from the inside part of the track in the home straight. So plenty to dissect there. Looking forward to getting into it with you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of horses you want to be with, and I mean, just quickly on the Spring Champion Stakes, we've got the Derby next week, obviously, down here. It seems that it's going to be unlikely that any will do the 7-day backup. We spoke about this on Thursday morning, saying it is the changing of the dates for the Spring Champion Stakes. So it's a lot closer to the Derby than it ever has been previously. And now it sort of becomes really difficult for these horses to, obviously, the 7-day backup, which we sort of love, and, you know, the short price favourite for the Derby Observer is going to be coming off a 7-day backup from the Vars. But to add the travel in as well, is a little bit of a hard one. Now, Attica wins the Group 1 race, so he's got the Group 1 to his name. It's unlikely he's coming down, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he's going to the Spelling Paddock, and I think Shangri-La Boy as well. Look, I reckon Racing New South Wales have got this one wrong. They've made a lot of good changes, but I think that this race should be run on Everest Day. It's got nothing – I think by running it on Everest Day, you're not going to lose any of the Sydney horses going to Melbourne. No one's going to go, hey, I'm going to go to Melbourne instead and run in the Vars the following week. And I think you might actually get a few of the Melbourne horses popping up to run in the Spring Champion, whereas at the moment they're not going to pop up, run in the Spring Champion, then go back and back up into a Victoria Derby, but they might consider doing that. Like Observer might have gone to the Spring Champion instead of the Vars had the Spring Champion been a week earlier. Probably would have won it or gone very close as well. Now, get it, they had Attica there. So I think now it's sort of in an attempt to try and keep the horses in Sydney and not let them go down to a Victoria Derby campaign. They may have actually sort of given up a couple of good Victorians that might have come up here. So maybe they'll have a look at that in years to come. The race itself, though, it went okay. Obviously, it was gut-wrenching for us. Shangri-La Boy, they've gone through the first 1,400 metres, 6 lengths above standard. He got taken on up in front. Nash had to hand up the spot to that filthy rotten leader. And he's kicked clear at the top of the straight. I mean, he's done this all in his first preparation. He's a horse to follow because to go from where he's been to doing that and to almost winning, great ride from Hippo, Hieronymus, one of the form jockeys in Sydney at the moment. Him and Tommy Berry are riding as good as anyone. He gets the Group 1. Joey Pryor gets a Group 1 for Godolphin. That's a big tick for him in his stable. And unfortunately, we just pop it there, have to wait until next time.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point you mentioned that I think the first and second and most of these will go to the paddock. We've seen, the history tells us, going to a derby, you know, it just seems to cruel them when they become these 4-year-olds like looking for a Caulfield Cup or a Melbourne Cup or a Cox. But they just never seem to come back and go on with it. So finishing, you know, third or fourth run in a prep at 2,000 metres, I think gives a beautiful platform, obviously then to launch into the autumn, but then obviously come back and be a major player in the Cups or whether it may be other weight for age races. So I like the fact that those two horses in particular are going to the paddock and not moving on to the Derby. Anything else from the meeting you want to follow to put in the Fox's den, mate? Because there was a few horses, one in particular that just keeps to be a winning machine, and I speak of Lindemann.
Yeah, well, he's look, this prepper earlier this year, we were talking about him and how he'd come back in career best form. He was a good 3-year-old, then he just maybe lost his way a little bit, and he's just come back this year in totality, really. And it's really smart placing from Waller. He's just dodged those big guns. The reality is, Jules, is he's running figures that would have been really competitive in a Cox Plate. Like I would have, you know, if I look at this number here and they go, okay, you can go back to last Friday, put him in the Cox Plate. Are you backing him? We probably would have got double figures about him in the Cox Plate. And I would have said, yeah, I'll back him in the Cox Plate at that price. He's running really well. He's a horse. We'll talk about the horses that are going to come down from Sydney that they might consider running in the Champion Stakes. Why wouldn't you? He's an absolute money machine. So he's gone really well. Steffi Magnetica is another one. Now she won the invitations worth $2 million up here, the 1,400 metre contest at Group 2 level for the fillies and mares. The race pace there was sort of pretty even, maybe just a sort of a genuine gallop, a little bit above average, but nothing spectacular. She was the widest of any winner all day. She was out in lane 10, so she had to do a bit of work to come down the centre part of the track. She carried 59.5 kilos. She's a Doncaster winner. She has now stamped herself as a really classy mare. I wonder if they give her a go potentially at the mile race, the Champions Mile. She might have a little look at something like that. Bjorn also might sort of send her across to WA for some of their races over there. He's travelled horses across there before. Outside of those two, Lindemann and Steffi Magnetica, the other horse that I want to put in the Fox's Den, and this is probably the one for the punters, so prick your ears here, is NCAP. Now, he ran in the 5 Diamonds Prelude, and it was a race where they went really slowly. They went through the first, I think about 800 or 900 metres, sort of around 4 lengths below standard. So he got back in a slowly run race and he zipped home with the 7th fastest last 200 metres of the day. Now, you might look at it and go, General Salute produced a faster last 200 metres than him. So did Transatlantic. How does he beat them getting to the final? How he beats them is, first of all, I think General Salute is a nippier horse. General Salute's biggest risk going into that 1,500 metre contest on Saturday was a fast run race. We didn't know if he was going to handle that, but it wasn't fast run. So he got to use his greatest asset, which is speed. And that's why he was able to produce the fastest last 200 metres of the race/day. NCAP's a horse that isn't really zippy. He gets back. He loves a fast tempo. He loves finishing off down the outside in fast tempo races. He might get that when they get to the 5 Diamonds itself in a couple of weeks' time. And if he does get that, he's the kind of horse at 20 to 30 to 1 that might bob up. So he's the one that goes in the Fox's Den at hopefully a bit of a price next time round.
Love that. That's very good for the punters out there. Just with that, we're going to lead into Larry's letterbox, and we've had a bit of intel or a bit of information come through to say, well, any of these Sydney horses coming down to Flemington? We've got the 4 days at Flemington, obviously Derby Day into Cup Day, into Oaks Day, into Stakes Day. You mentioned Lindemann. I think you're right. I think they should have a crack at the Champion Stakes over 2,000 metres, would be more than competitive. Steffi Magnetica, I think you're right again. I think they should go to the Champions Mile on their way to the Railway, and it can be also a companion for Overpass, who runs in the Winterbottom. So don't be surprised to see that happen. Any others from Sydney? I know Idle Flyer, Matty Smith's bringing that horse down for this week's Empire Rose.
Yeah, well, Steffi Magnetica, the horse that we've just spoken about, there's a good chance that Bjorn brings her down maybe for a crack at the Champions Mile en route to possibly a trip to WA. Old mate Lake Forest is coming down your way, apparently. It'll be interesting to see if I think Zach gets the ride again, but obviously a bit of talk there last week. In the Champions Sprint, we've heard that Tempted's in the paddock. Jolly Star will come down. They're talking about maybe bringing Briasa down for a crack down the straight. Angel Capital, the news came out last week that he's going to go straight to the CF4. I don't mind that move because I think his go is very well fresh, but I would have loved to have seen him fresh down the straight. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing with him in the autumn. Hopefully they go that way. And then in the Champion Stakes, I think they'll give strong consideration to Lindemann having a crack. He's earned his spot now against Via Sistina and co. He gets his chance to do it. He goes there in form and he's running really good numbers. Buckaroo's still listed in that one. There is some sort of murmurs overnight that he might go to the Melbourne Cup, even though they'd said previously probably not. But I'd be just sitting back and waiting there before having any bets with Buckaroo until they make the call, Julesy.
Beautiful. Love your work, mate. I will see you Thursday. Massive preview. Obviously, the 3 Group 1s on Derby Day, but also the Golden Eagle at Randwick this year, not at Rose Hill. So plenty to dissect there. Your girlfriend, Autumn Glow, running around. I'll see you then, pal.
See you, buddy.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.